Hey, everybody, it's Lisa Copeland. I just got off of an airplane and I raced back to my house because I was not about to miss today's show, Big Sellers, with my good friend, Shawn Hayes, who's an absolute freaking rock star, first and foremost. And secondly, he and I are so aligned on what we believe about building a movement. He's got his sales hustlers. I got the big sellers. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth today and see how much value we can bring you. Shawn, are you in the house?
I am in the house. Hi,
you
Lisa. Thank you. I know you're running tight with time today. You just got off a plane. I thank you for squeezing us in today. It's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to it.
I got all the time in the world for you. And it was funny because I didn't even tell you this before we started the show, but my husband somehow his key fell out of his pocket and went under like the thing like that holds your luggage, whatever it's called, the turnstile. So we have half a security at Austin Airport trying to get it. And I'm going, okay, I'm looking all around going, okay, well, where am I going to set up my show if I don't get home in time? Because this is happening. This is going down. Like, you're hard to book.
Well, I'm excited to be here, man. It's really fun. I got a show tomorrow night. I got you tonight. I got another one on Thursday. So it's kind of a full week. It's kind of exploded this year. It's crazy how busy it's gotten.
Oh, well, we're going to talk all about you. So first of all of us want to know, how's the new JOB going?
Actually, it's been great. I'll tell you, it was very scary. And whenever anybody makes changes, you have to get out of your comfort zone and walk into that fear, because that's where your true potential and greatness lies. But it is still scary. We all our mind likes to trick us and stay in that comfort zone. It tricks us that that's where we want to be. But really, that's where boredom happens. That's where people leave jobs or leave their marriages and things like that. That's because the mind is tricking them that they're comfortable. I wanted to get out of my comfort zones. Have you ever been on a journey and you think you want to go faster, but the car you're in is going as fast as it can go?
I used to sell Fiats. Yes.
Yes. I kind of felt like I was in a Fiat, but I needed a Mercedes Benz. That's kind of the way I was
horsepower. What the hell do you do with that?
So I kind of decided to look at my opportunities, and man, it was the best decision I think I've ever made in a career. It's been really good. The leaders there are really behind me. The leaders are really, really into the business, and they're younger thinkers. They're younger thinkers like me. They believe in changing the game, and they believe that social media is the way to do it.
Well, and it's absolutely working for you, and your sales hustlers group is crushing it. And I'll tell you, I can see so many people that you have led and that you have taught. And I can look I can look on Facebook and I'm like, that's a sales hustler, because their stuff is excellent. It's on point. It's engaging. So talk about that. Talk about what your movement is within the automotive industry to really revolutionize it.
Well, that's exactly right. That's exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to revolutionize and change and eradicate, just like Glenn Lundy. And that's why me and Glenn have become such good friends. We literally had the exact same agenda. We wanted to change the game, change the way not only people thought of car salesmen, but also the thinking inside dealerships. And here's what happens. Okay, salesmen forever think that this is an individual sport. So they hide their things, they keep it. They don't engage the other salesmen there. They don't teach, they don't grow. And the problem is in their mind, they're thinking, well, I'm going to be better because they don't have the knowledge I have. And what really happens is, okay, the dealership suffers. The customer's experience suffers, because instead of that younger or green pea or that newer person growing, okay, they ended up blowing through customers. They end up not giving the experience the customer should get. And I believe we've been thinking wrong. Instead of worrying about what other people do, all right, and how that affects you, I believe you only control your own destiny, okay? I believe I don't compete with the other salesmen. So I help them, I promote them, I get them better. I'm not scared of how good they can get because I don't compete against them. I compete against myself, my own goals, my limitations, what I put on myself. So I don't see you as a competitor. I want to grow you and get you awesome. I feel like I want to give you all my knowledge and see how good this industry can get. Because if we all raise our standards, we all raise our game, the industry in general gets better. And that's how Sales Hustlers was founded.
I love it. So the way that I met you was by our fabulous mutual sponsor, Quick Pages. Chad Morgan, wonderful social media tool, wonderful tool to be able to engage customers real time, video. I mean, video is everything. And so I know that they're going to put up Quick Page for us, but just the way that we've all met each other. And then of course I met Glenn Lundy because he and I have the same agent. And so it's just crazy how there seems like there's just this handful of us, and I say handful, I mean, that could be 1,000 in a $1 billion industry that are really committed to changing the game, and how the universe has truly brought all of us together.
It is amazing. We started the hashtag join the movement when we first started the group back in, I think it was 6 months ago. It's crazy how far it's come in 6 months, but we started it. We wanted to change the thinking. That was it. I wanted to, period. When I talked to Dave Benson, the only thing I said was, he said, well, what do you think of this? I said, look, I want to give my knowledge. He's like, give your knowledge. What do you mean? I said, give, because he's a trainer. All he could think about was monetizing things. Right. And right. I said, no, that's not what I'm about. I just want to give. And eventually, if we're given so much and people see value in you, then they'll give you their money. Okay. Right. But don't worry about it up front. And I feel like that's the problem with the car game. It's always been that way. Everybody just wants to monetize and get money off of people. And I feel like if you just present value, you're going to build such a loyal following that people won't worry. Money will not be an object. It will not be worried for you if you provide value. And it's come a long way. I'll tell you what, Sales Hustlers is one of the strongest groups on Facebook as far as car sales. I've never seen anything like it. They are loyal, man. And they think that their group is the best, and they've actually exited other groups. I don't know if you know this.
I'm a Sales Hustler. I'm a member of that group.
That's right. I don't know if you know this. The reason why Sales Hustlers was started is because I was booted out of other groups. They didn't want me to put my content through their groups. So I was doing these daily videos and I was sharing it from my timeline into the other groups, and the other groups would text me and say, no, you can't put those in here. And I was like, why? And they said, for whatever reason, they didn't want that. And I said, aren't we all trying to get this, car sales better? Aren't we trying to make our industry better? And really, I don't think they were. I think they were just trying to sell things. So we started our own group and said, forget about that. We're just going to start our own movement. And that's what we did. And that's how it all developed. Now,
do you allow other people to post stuff in Sales Hustlers?
We allow everybody to post stuff except for vendors, period. Right. We said, okay, if we're going to make this group, it's only going to be car salespeople, car salesmen, managers, GMs, GSMs, fixed ops, all that. But you have to work in a dealership. And the reason I wanted that is I didn't want everybody in there trying to sell things to people. Yeah. I didn't want everything. I wanted it to be like, look, we're a culture of trying to get better. And that's it. So like all of a sudden, man, the first week we had 100 members, then 400, then 700, then 1,000. All it was people promoting each other and helping, saying, no, you should do this. Try this. Okay, well, I'm going to do this before I present this to my Facebook timeline, just so people could get better. And we all just helped each other. And it started this movement. And as soon as somebody would come in there with a negative thing, we'd boot them out. And people were like, what do you mean? I didn't curse at anybody. I said, look, man, we have no negativity in this group whatsoever. The first time you start being negative towards another person, you're out of here. Go try one of these other groups that are more negative. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. And I've just seen some of the craziest stuff. I mean, and just people hating on each other in these groups. And it's just like, stop.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And it's just because, it's insecurity. That's all it is, Lisa. It's insecurity. When somebody's insecure, they prey on the weak. That's really what it is. Instead of lifting up your fellow man, they attack them. And I just won't do that. That was the insecure Shawn at 25, but the secure Shawn at 46, I want to help everybody.
Okay. So Shawn, when did you have this epiphany? When did you wake up and you said, you know what, this isn't just going to be about me? Because to me, what it sounds like, and I was on your show quite a while ago, so I've gotten to know you a lot, and I tell your story a lot on my show because I love it. I think it's inspiring. But I mean, I see this as being your legacy, because I believe your legacy is not your end of life story, but it's your everyday story, and it continues to evolve, and you can build it, you can correct it, you can expand on it. When did you make a decision to build this automotive legacy, besides the movement, but the legacy?
Well, when I got into sales, car sales 12 years ago, I was very selfish, very arrogant. I wasn't proud of the person I was. I was starting to evolve, if that makes sense. But I was taught by people that it was an individual sport. I was taught by the wrong people. They weren't teaching me to help my fellow man, right? It was a competitive competition.
Or woman. Remember who you're talking to here.
Yes. So I started, over the years, I started seeing that I had this talent to be able to tell people things and show them and teach them, right? So I would teach people anyways. I never cared. I was always the top guy at the dealership. So I wasn't worried about anybody outselling me. And then I got to Florida, St. Augustine, and I still was selfish. I kind of fell back into my old ways because it was a new dealership and I wanted to make my mark and everything. But when I found social media, I don't know what happened, Lisa. I went out there with different intentions than what they are today. I went out there thinking I would hold a microphone up, the camera up, all right? And all these people would break down the doors to come in, right? But that's not what happened. What had started happening was I started evolving into wanting to help other people. You know, I found the Lord back in 2011, and it really changed my life and my thinking on things. I used to be very selfish. I used to be very self-absorbed, but somewhere along there, my inside transformed. I started transforming, and it's not instant. I want everybody to know it's a gradual thing. And over time, next thing I know, I'm looking in the mirror and all I care about is helping other people. I had a serving attitude. I changed it from a selfish attitude to a serving attitude. And then I started like helping other people. They were coming to me left and right because I had a way. I don't know how it totally happened, but it wasn't overnight. Nothing ever is. It evolves over time, gradual. And now I look in the mirror and I'm proud of the evolution of myself. I really, truly am. And I couldn't say that years ago.
And what a following I'm sitting here looking at, and I'm just cracking up. I hope Frank Lopes is watching this today. He was on my show last week and he made up this name, Subaru Steve. And we were kind of laughing about it. And then I sent him a screenshot. Hi, Subaru Steve Montgomery. And I go, Frank, there really is a Subaru Steve. And so anyways, we just got a big kick out of it. And he's alive and he exists. But you know, I'm looking at some of these comments because we're also filming this show to go out for our podcast, but I want people to hear what they say about you. You know, Luke, my man, you know, Nate Wagner, you know, Texas baby, AJ Anderson, join the movement. I mean, you've got people that love you. Jeffrey Parton, it's family. My good friend, Subaru Steve, who I didn't even know you existed, but hey, we're friends now. Lisa Good Move featuring Shawn Hayes. Chad Morgan, who's both of our sponsors from QuickPage. We love him. Shawn has the coolest story. You know, I mean, so it's just people out there. I mean, you know, you have such a fan base. Hi, Ken Walls. How are you? Wonderful friend of mine. And I think of yours too. You know, Laura, I mean, all these people, Michelle, hi, everybody. So, I mean, all these people out here and they support you so much. Scott Simmons, Valley Auto Group is here to support our friend, Shawn Hayes. I mean, speak to this. I mean, this is what a responsibility almost to our industry that you have, that you've taken on building this movement. And really, I mean, I don't know if you know, Shawn, but, you know, I'm writing a book. I think you know that. But so as I've done the research the last 6 months on building a movement, it's that you have to declare a common enemy. And then the common enemy is what galvanizes you, your customers, your supporters, or whatever. And I think your common enemy is the same that mine was when I was a car dealer. And that was the industry itself. Talk to us about that.
That's exactly right. It's an easy enemy. And, you know, I understand how we all get like that over time, but that is our common enemy. You know, that's why I feel passionate about the group of people. And I think that's very important that you surround yourself with like-minded people, you know, like the Glenn Lundys, Dave Bensons, yourself, Jonathan Dawson's. These guys really want to change how things are done. And so we have all come together with a common goal and a common enemy. And that's the old school thinking, the old school car dog, the car dog that won't get on board with today's buyer. And today's buyer is different than it used to be, you know, and we've come a long way. And really, I'm very proud of what we developed. And here's how you start a movement. You have to have a serving attitude, number one. Okay. You can't ask for money and things. All right. You can't. You come at them with, and here was my idea. Everybody said, Lisa, this is interesting. I don't really think I've ever talked about this, but a lot of people didn't understand what I was doing. My videos are all directed towards car salesmen. And they're like, you're trying to sell cars through social media. What are you doing? And I said, they called me stupid, actually. They told me I was wrong. And I said, okay, am I? Facebook pushes your stuff out through engagement. Okay, they do. Okay, engagement, how many people are engaging, how many people are sharing, how many people are commenting. At the end of the day, I was able to build my network and how much Facebook would push my posts through an army of salesmen all across the world, okay, who basically were following me and saying, yes, that guy's on the ground just like me. He's doing exactly the same thing as me. He's not some high-paid trainer that hasn't sold a car in years. This guy is on the front line just like me. And I would come home and tell my wife that this is way more fun, okay, way more fun than going out and standing in front of a car and saying, come on down and buy this car at $199, okay? That is the old way to sell through social media. It doesn't work anymore, guys. It doesn't. Now, what you have to do is document your life. Now you document your journey. Okay, my journey is to eventually own a dealership, Lisa. Okay. That is my journey. And I've told everybody from day one that that's my journey. And everybody is going to watch me on this journey. Okay, and I document it daily. Okay, and I'm transparent and I'm authentic. And that's what you have to be if you're starting a movement. Authentic, don't want anything from anybody, having a serving attitude, and have relationships with the people that are following you.
And you have to have an underlying purpose and a burning desire. And I told you, I just literally jumped off of an airplane, got home so I could talk to you, and because I'm just one of your biggest fans. But I was with Sharon Lecter, and Sharon is the co-founder of the Rich Dad Poor Dad, the Rich Dad Empire, literally the largest brand ever when it comes to personal development. And it was a $300 million seminar company. Like, it's a big deal, 30 million books. She's a super big deal. And we were talking about, the building a movement. And then, of course, after she left Rich Dad, she got involved with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, which is Think and Grow Rich. She brought Outwitting the Devil. She rewrote Outwitting the Devil for Napoleon Hill. And anyways, brought it out of the vault. But one of the things that Napoleon Hill says, who's the greatest thought leader of all time, is number one, it's your underlying purpose, which we know what your purpose is, Shawn. It's to revolutionize the auto industry. But, you take number two to the next level, which is critical to build a movement. And this is where most people fail. It's that you have a burning desire that you would do it if you didn't get famous, which you're getting very famous, or you didn't get paid, because it's your burning desire. And that's where I think people fail, Shawn. I think they're thinking, yeah, let's do this. I want to be famous. I want to be Grant Cardone. I want to be, Gary Vee and all the stuff. And Glenn Lundy and I were talking about you last week or the week before when he was on my show. And I know he's a good friend of yours and a fellow sales hustler. And I think one of the reasons you are so successful, number one, yes, I know what you're saying about the trainers or people sitting in a higher seat. And I said this on the show with Glenn. I said, he is somebody who evangelizes, meaning you evangelize from where you're at, and it is on that sales floor. And without that sales floor, without the sales hustlers of the world, without those who are going out in the hot and the cold and keeping that iron moving over the curb, we don't have a car industry. The dealer principals aren't going to roll around on their jets. The big famous trainers of the world aren't going to have anything to sell. And so you have evangelized from where you're at. And I was kind of like, I bet no one said that about Shawn in those words before, because as Glenn and I were talking about you, that's what was really coming to me. And I think that is critical about building a movement. You can't look down on people and say, let's mobilize. You got to be with the people. And that's what you are. You are mobilizing this army of champions of the men and women that keep our industry moving forward from exactly where you're at. And I love it.
I think one of the other key things with that, Lisa, is caring about the individual. I've built some great relationships in Sales Hustlers, as well as fostered a lot of great relationships. Like this group has built a lot of very strong community of people that support each other. And that's not normal in the car business, right? A lot of times they're attacking each other or don't want to share ideas. We fostered this loving atmosphere that allows everybody to want everybody to succeed. And that too that brings loyalty. You know what I mean? That loyalty is going to go a long way, because these people and I and myself and Dave will be together for a long, long time because of it.
So Gary out there, Gary Pollard, he says, you're leading by example. Jeffrey Parton, hey, Jeffrey, love what you have to say. What would the car business be without salesmen? Salesmen are never going away. I started out as a car salesman. I was not the wife of a dealer, not the daughter of a dealer, sold them one car at a time. And I'll tell you what, if I ever had to do it again, I'd be great with it. Natalie Wagner, we're all coming to work for you. Oh, I know. I said Natalie. Nate, I'm so sorry. Nate Wagner, we're all coming to work for you. And so it sounds like, the industry's rooting for you to go ahead and get that car dealership.
Right. Yeah, that's something in the future for sure. I got a long way to go. And that's the great thing, as I tell everybody, the journey is the best part. I've had a lot of goals in my life that I've actually achieved, not the high-end goals. You have to have those, but I have short-term goals. And I've always noticed that once I reach the short-term goals, they don't feel as good as the journey getting there. It never does. I always look back on the journey as the more fun thing. And that's what this whole rise in this movement is the whole journey of it. We're the underdog, the comebacks that are rising up out of the ashes. And we have a goal in mind and we want to get there. But the journey, I tell everybody, pay attention to the journey. The journey is what you're going to look back on, because everybody that wins the Super Bowl, they only feel that Super Bowl trophy and have that feeling for a brief moment, but they always remember the journey getting there better than they do the actual feeling of holding the trophy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I experienced that too when my young team broke the world sales record for the Fiat brand. And the journey was great, and the celebrating, and then it's almost anticlimactic once you get the trophy in the car and all that stuff, right? So what is it? I want you to talk about, if you're talking to salespeople all the time, you're out there. What is the first thing, what is the one thing you would tell them to do immediately if they wanted to start, this journey of building their own movement?
Well, you have to be authentic, and it's not going to happen overnight, and you have to be disciplined and routine oriented. Okay. So a lot of times people don't get the impact that I have got on social media. And a lot of that is because A, their content isn't good, or B, they're not disciplined in their delivery. Okay. You have to do this every day. Rain, shine. Today it was raining. I sat in the car. Some days I'm tired when I wake up. It doesn't matter. On days, even on your day off, you still go in there. I do not miss a day, and I haven't for a year. Okay. And that is one of the biggest problems, is people don't stay disciplined in their routine. And the routine and the discipline of it is really what brings that consistency. I say to people all the time, Lisa, if you had a favorite TV show, okay, before TiVo, but it came on at 8 one day, at 10 one day, at 2, didn't come on another day, okay, when would you find it? How could you build a following? You couldn't build a following for that TV show because there was no consistency in it. I have came on every day for 1 year at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning, every day. Everybody knows where to find me. If they want to watch a motivating or a video to do with sales, you come on at 8 o'clock every morning. And I believe that consistency, along with good content, has really helped propel a close-knit army.
How do you come up with your content on a daily basis, Shawn?
Well, a lot of that has to do with my routine as well. But I get up at 4 o'clock every morning, and I've done that for a year consistently too. But I spend 1 hour every morning from 4 to 5 on my mind. I spend 1 hour on my mind. The reason why is when you go to work, when you deal with stuff, there's a lot of negative stuff thrown at you. Okay. But if you have a strong mind and you have the ability to overcome things because you're ready and you're prepped, I believe that's huge. So when I study my mind and I take that time on my mind, it comes ideas. Things pop into my mind. Things happen during my day. I write them down. That's a great topic. That's a great video. You know, if a problem occurs or I fail with a customer, I don't hide that, Lisa. That's the key, is don't hide your failures. This is where people make mistakes. They try to be perfect. They try to be that person that they think everybody wants, where really your imperfection is your perfection. If you come to people with the warts and all, I blew it with that customer, I made a mistake, here's how I got him back in, here's how I turned that negative into a positive. You know what I mean? Let people see your faults. And that is really how I've been able to, I think, be more authentic, is just let people see me that way. I don't even remember what your question was. I got off on that tangent. I'm sorry.
You're just rolling. That's good.
I
know. I know a few weeks ago you did a show and you told your story. You know, just the way you were raised and what happened and grown up. And I know the adoption. And you know, it was very, I watched it a couple of times. It was fantastic, you know, and you know, it really made us feel like we got to know you better. What made you decide, after it was probably about a year, I guess, of you starting all this, what made you decide that now was the time to tell that story?
Well, I felt like I could help somebody. I really did. It was weighing on my heart, because I'm not really truly telling my story if I don't tell it all, you know, and I'm telling people every day to be authentic, be yourself, be real, but I can't have secrets if that's the case. Right. So I felt like this was something that's held me for a long time. It's held its grip over me, and it's kind of bound me a little bit. And you don't understand how freeing that was. Not only will it help somebody else, but it was freeing to me because it allowed me to say, I have no more secrets. I am who I am. I am the man today because of my mistakes and the lessons I've learned. I'm the way I am because of what's happened in my childhood and how I've been able to deal with it. All this makes a man. So the best way I can lead to people, and lead is very important, is to be that person, be that real, true person, be that person that, you know, just lets people in, man. Don't hide it, because I feel like that is a huge thing that people hide, Lisa. And I don't know if you know this, but 1 out of 4 people it's happened to in America. That's crazy, right? But it is 1 out of 4 people. So if 1 out of 4 people, okay, have dealt with this, and there's a lot of people in my audience that have dealt with this and probably have pushed it down, overlooked it, ignored it, okay, not wanting to deal with it. And the problem is, if any problem in your life, if you do not deal with the root and deal with the problem, it will come back at some point in your life. I promise you. It might not be how you think it's going to come back, but it will come back. You're probably not going to be able to deal with a relationship. You're probably going to be thinking you don't deserve success. Maybe you can't get, you're wondering why your marriages are having trouble, why you can't raise kids properly. All this, okay, is because people don't deal with the root of the problems.
But you know what I love?
Sure that I had dealt with this years later, but I had never got to the point where I was able to share. So I wanted to make sure I came out and led by example and said, guys, it's okay. It wasn't my fault. All right. It wasn't my family's fault, but I need to deal with this. And if any of you are going through something similar, then reach out to me, man. I just wanted to lead by example. That's all.
No, it was great. And I think it was a great example, because to look at you, you know, you're this, you know, great looking, you know, high producing, a successful guy who was just really vulnerable and raw. And that is absolutely anti-car business, anti-automotive.
It is. But that's the movement we're starting. You know, people are all the time in sales hustlers. They cry when they do a video, if it changed their life. I had a guy today, it made me cry when he sent me the video of how the Sales Hustlers has changed his life. He was homeless. Okay. He was homeless. He had no money. He literally had to pawn and give away and sell everything in his house. He found Sales Hustlers. He's thought about quitting the business, literally leaving the business. Now he's selling over 20 cars a month. He's like a master at video now. Jeffrey Lee Parton, I don't mind. He posted in Sales Hustlers. Sales Hustlers has changed his life. And stories like that, things that I was a part of. I'm a part of that. You know what I mean? You know how cool that is? That is cooler than any car sale ever in the world, that I can have an impact in somebody's life and change their existence. That is why I get up every day inspired. That is why I get up every day and give 150% to this, man. Fly all over the country, do this, because if I could change one person's trajectory, that guy's going to make 6 figures.
Let me ask you,
literally was homeless.
flying all over the country, because I follow you. And I'm like, how is he able to leave his day job and go and have the events you're having and have the meetings you're having? So obviously you're working for a great group of people that are allowing you to help revolutionize the auto industry.
Yeah, they are. But we kind of had that pact when I came in there to see about working there. I said, this is very important to me. And they said, Shawn, it's very important to us if it's very important to you. So I do work for great guys, and I'm really lucky. The Beavers are an amazing group. They really, truly are. And I believe if more people came in and saw what they were doing, the Glenn Lundys of the world, the Scott Simons of the world, the Brad Wises of the world, they would understand how a dealership should be run, and this industry would get a lot better.
Well, yeah. And then, I think that they would have a lot better talent pool to be able to pick from. And, one of the things that when Glenn Lundy and I spoke last week is that, their sales in Paris, Kentucky have gone up 800%. And I said, in a town of like 9,000 people, they sell 1,200 cars a year, 12,000 cars a year. And I said, how do you guys do it? And he said, we are so transparent that people come over 100 miles to be able to buy cars from us. And they pass lots of Chevy stores in between. He says, because people want to know what's going on behind the veil, meaning the customers. So the customers are just as bought in to what's going on as the industry. Are you seeing your personal business exploding? Because people said, I saw you on Facebook talking to a bunch of car salesmen and I had to come buy a car from you. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I don't take ups really that much. In fact, we just went to an up system so they would make me take ups, because normally I just wouldn't go outside. There's like 10 guys standing on point. I'm not going to fight 10 guys out there on point. Okay. So I just would stay in and work Facebook and work things that way. But I told the people that kind of made fun of me at the beginning because I wasn't going after the customer, telling them to come on down to the dealership, I wanted to take the different approach. When everybody zigs, Lisa, I want to zag. Okay. So if everybody's out standing in front of cars, telling them, come on down, get this payment, get this car, doing walk around videos and things like that. I said, look, okay, we got a lot of people doing that. There's no reason for me to go out here and do that. Let me go over here. Okay. And just speak to people about wisdom and life and, the ups and downs of the world.
But how are these people, Shawn, finding? Here's like Nate Wagner says, Shawn and the Hustlers helped me explode within 3 months. My second month, I was #1 salesman with 21 cars on a super slow month. God, Nate, I wish I would have known you in. Anthony, Scott Simmons is a great guy, which I don't know Scott yet. Nick, Shawn has this great personality that attracts people to him. I have not personally met him or met a salesman so humble, but how are the customers finding you?
They root for me. Actually, the greatest thing about it is, whenever I sell a car, I'm always taking a picture, tagging them. And here's the thing about social media. When you tag them, their friends are going to then see it. Then their friends come in there and they comment. They say, oh, Jeannie, great, beautiful car. And then I go in and say, oh, yes, it was awesome today. We had a great time together. And they say, really? And then I friend request them. Okay, so I build my network through their friends. All right. And that's one key thing. But secondly, your local area. Okay. Your local area they pass around. Cross promotions are a huge thing too, Lisa. All right. And I don't know if you do this or a lot of people do this, but you have a local barbershop you love. You have a local restaurant you love, maybe a couple of them, a place to eat breakfast, a gym, an insurance agency. Instead of going up to them and saying, hey, will you support my business? Here's some business cards. Here's some, promo stuff on me. I go in the business and say, how can I promote your business? And they're like, what? And I said, yes, I love this place. I use it. I personally like it. I have 5,000 people that follow me here locally. Can I promote your business? And of course they say yes. So you go outside and you stand in front of that great restaurant. You say, hi, this is Shawn Hayes at Beaver Toyota. I want to know, see this behind me? This is Metro Diner, my favorite diner in this town. If you're here locally and you want a great place to eat breakfast, come on down to Metro Diner. Boom. I did nothing, but I promoted them unselfishly, didn't ask for anything. They in turn, okay, when somebody does something nice for you, when they want a car or they talk to somebody that wants a car, or somebody comes in and says, oh, I saw your video on Shawn's page, who are they going to send somebody to buy a car from? Okay, this is how you build a loyal following, is you don't want anything from anybody. You give of yourself unselfishly, not expecting anything. They in in return give back to you? Hello?
Yeah. Oh, no, I lost you there for a second, Shawn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good. Okay. I think we're having some audio problems. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. For for some reason it was cutting out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, are you doing that every day? Are you doing it once a week? Or are you just doing it like you have this amazing experience and then you jump out and do it? So I know consistency at 8 a.m., you're doing your motivation and you're talking to salespeople, but how often are you going out and are you promoting other businesses, which of course in the world we call is the law of reciprocity?
Yes, it is. And you should do it. Here's the thing. I'm not here to tell you how much to do it, but you need to do it consistently. Okay. So if Thursday is your day to do it, then do it every Thursday. Pick a local business and do it. All right. I have found out that the more engagement I get, the more it pushes it out to my town. Right. So I'm pushing it out to my town, who then randomly see it, or they get told by one of their friends, hey, man, this isn't just a normal car salesman. Check him out. Right. And then I'll get friends. I'll get a lot of my customers. My customers watch these videos. And here's the thing I found out that I knew would happen, Lisa. I knew it. I said, man, if you have good content, your customers are going to root for you. And that's what happens. They're in there rooting for me. They're like, that's my salesman. You know what I mean? I bought a car from him. You go, Shawn. You cannot buy that loyalty. That loyalty, they will never buy a car from anybody else. They will forever come and buy a car from me because they want to be a part of something bigger. And they see that what I'm doing here is something bigger. I'm not just out here selling cars. I'm trying to change lives. I'm trying to change an industry, and they want to support that.
No, and I love that because, the customers, they are sick and tired of this industry, especially women consumers, which of course is how I make my living. The majority of the time when I'm not out speaking, I'm out, working with marketing and consulting with dealerships on how to truly engage and market to women consumers, the number one consumer in the world. So, in the old days when we sold cars, how do you keep up with, so is social media the 100% way that you keep up with your customers on their birthdays and Christmas? Because in the old days, we would send cards, we'd have tickler systems. So now do you 100% count on everything, all things social media, not only to obtain customers, but to retain customers?
No, but I will tell you this, that is the best tool there is for that, because of the reminders, the yearly birthday reminders, all the things it does. When you sell a car and you post that picture a year later, it pops up. This is the best way to manage it, but unfortunately, not everybody's on it. Okay, you would think they are, but they're not. So I have a lot of older people here in St. Augustine who are not on social media. So you can't do it only that way. The CRM is another great tool to do that. But I wish everybody was on Facebook, because I could get rid of the CRM altogether, to be honest with you, because it is such an easy tool to manage your customer base. Messenger. I love Messenger better than anything. I really, really, truly do.
I know. I'm personally trying to get used to Messenger, all this new stuff now, because people are like, I sent you a note on Messenger. And I'm like, oh, it just seems like there's so many ways, for people to get a hold of you nowadays. So you think Messenger is the number one way to be able to just ping somebody from a social media standpoint versus tagging them and putting it on their page?
Well, I like tagging. You got to start somewhere. You start by tagging, and then you form a relationship with them and their friends. But I think it makes me feel closer to them, and they feel closer to me, because they're watching me and I'm watching them. Like, I see their stuff pop up in my timeline. I get to know them better. They see my morning videos. They see me sell another car. They see me have a post about my wife and my family. They feel closer to me. And that is the key to social media. It is the bonds you build through it. They don't even have to know you that well, but they feel like they get to know you through it. And that is how I've maximized that. Okay. And I'm very creative in my posts to attract them to see me. Look, everything is strategic. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I am genuine and authentic, but everything is for a reason and a purpose. Right, Lisa?
Right.
You do this show to give back, but you don't do it only to give back. You do it for strategic purpose. That's why we do this stuff. Right.
Right.
So, it's have the right intentions, but be business minded about it. Okay. we have to be business minded about it. We're not just doing all this for nothing. We're doing on it for a greater gain. But along the way, I'm going to bring as many people as I can with me. And that's the thing. My hand is backwards. I'm charging forward, but I am bringing a bunch of people along with me and making them better along the way.
What is your timeline? When do you think, let's just put a prediction out there on this day and time. When are you going to have your name on a sign, Shawn?
Well, I had a 7-year plan. Okay. The 7-year plan is I plan on being on a dealership sign, or at least a minority owner of some sort within 7 years. And I believe I can do that because I'm maximizing my leverage right now. I'm gaining leverage. And the only thing I can tell people out there is you're not doing it unless you're gaining leverage of whatever your career you have. You have to gain market share, leverage, whatever you want to call it. But I believe the only way you can do that is to build your name up enough to where you have leverage, right? I tell people all the time, you need to be known in your industry. So when you walk into some place, they already know who you are and what you stand for. Because if they already know who you are and what you stand for, and they invited you there, then you have leverage. You have leverage in that situation. I never wanted to walk in a dealership with clammy hands, scared if they were going to hire me. Do you understand what I'm saying there? I will never worry about a job again because of the leverage that I've built in the industry. I can walk in a place and know that I'll get a job.
So how is it selling Toyotas? Now, your other brand, wasn't it Nissan?
No, it was Hyundai.
Oh, Hyundai. Okay. So you went from Hyundai to Toyota. So are all your customers swapping brands with you?
Yeah, it's a slow process because a lot of them are a little bit negative. But yeah, the Toyota brand holds
between a Hyundai and a Toyota on resale.
The Toyota is just so easy to sell. These people are just like literally they're much easier.
I see the #1 Toyota dealer in Texas is here, Chris Martinez. I think he was on your show.
Yes. What's interesting though, I've noticed is the product. I used to have to do $1 million walk around across the street at Hyundai, $1 million walk around and really sell. I really had to sell the attributes of the Hyundai, right? I don't really have to do that at Toyota. All I have to do is do a great job of building rapport, selling myself and the advantages of picking me and selling the dealership because the brand, they're very loyal to it. And not only that, the reputation in the industry is already there.
I know. I used to close my eyes every night and say, please, God, I want a Toyota dealership. But if my friend Adam Aarons is watching, I want a Subaru dealership if I ever wanted a dealership again. So you're lucky because it really is about the brand and it's about you. So Shawn, as we wrap up, I want to know everybody who is seeing this show now and is seeing it in the future, how do they find Shawn Hayes? How do they follow Sales Hustlers?
Well, if every day you wake up, all right, and you wonder, where your inspiration or where your motivation comes from, first of all, you're already behind the curve. All right. Before I tell you where to get to me, here's my guideline and what you need to do to succeed. You have to have a plan. You have to get up early ahead of everybody. All right. All the successful people in the world are up early. I promise you. Okay. Yep. Do the research on it. All right. They get a head start on everybody else. If I'm up at 4 in my work ethic and my talent, and you're getting up at 7, you're never, ever going to pass me. So you have to start putting a routine in place that you can get up early. And then at 8 o'clock every day, seek me out, either in Sales Hustlers on my timeline, because I guarantee you I'm going to give you something of substance that will help your life that day, whether it's life coaching, whether it's relationships, or whether it's actual business of sales. I'm going to give you something of tangible value that I want nothing from. And that's the best form of giving. I promise you, if you follow me and the Sales Hustler, you're going to improve your business because you're going to improve the person you are first. And I think that's the key. Okay. People focus so much on sales, but it's not about selling. It's about learning who you are and the ability to feel comfortable in your own skin. That's what makes a true salesperson, when they feel comfortable in any situation and they can work a room when not working a room. See, I don't like that. People say work a room. I don't work a room. I just go in and be myself, and people are drawn to that. And that's the key to sales.
No, and that's everything. I mean, sales 100% is influence. If you've got influence, and if you believe in what you sell, if you stand for something big enough, people will buy whatever you're selling. And that's the wonderful thing about customers. And Shawn, you have just been such an inspiration to not only this industry, but to me personally. I don't think there's a show that I do that goes by that I don't mention you. Because again, I love the fact more than anything that you're right there in the trenches. You are the evangelist, but you're on the front lines every single day, keeping, everything moving forward, not only your dealership, but within this industry. So I
want
proud.
to also say thank you for the other day. Thank you for having me on. But the other day when you were on there with Frank J. Lopes, you mentioned something to me that, or you mentioned something in general that I happened to be watching that day. You said the next Grant Cardone. And I will tell you this, that I have studied Grant Cardone, and you were speaking about leverage.
Yep.
His sales, okay, and his ability to sell has increased over the years. Has his talent increased? Probably not, but I guarantee you his reputation and his leverage has increased. And that, like you just said, is the key to sales. His leverage is so high because everybody thinks when they get on the phone with Grant, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll take it, right? That's because he's built so much leverage and reputation up that people.
But it takes time.
It does.
And everybody, I know Grant personally, and in 2011, I've laughed with him about this. He came into my dealership. I wasn't a dealer then. I was just a platform general sales manager. He called on us. My boss, the GM at the time, didn't want to talk to him. He's like, go talk to that guy. I thought, well, I can go out in the service department and handle a heat case, or I can go talk to this guy out here who looks like a sales trainer, And so I spoke to Grant, and we actually spent 2 or 3 hours together in my office, and he wanted to buy apartments in Austin. So I hooked him up with a good friend of mine who was a realtor. And and the thing I will tell you about Grant is that everyone's like, oh, I want to be Grant. I'm like, well, then you better do the work, because, love him or hate him, it doesn't matter. With Cardone I shouldn't say hate him as a person, but just his methodologies. The guy's done the work, and he's been consistent. And that's why I said that to Lopes the other day about you, because I see the consistency. I see the work ethic. I like to tell Cardone, I knew him when he was not broke, but you know what I'm saying? He did not fly in on his 10X jet. I can tell you that. When I saw him that day, he was on Delta, and in 2011. And so, I see that in you, and I love to make predictions about people because I'm always right. I am always right. And I believe that about you. And I think that, again, you've got this wonderful platform, and I just want to thank you, because I just think that everybody, I have such a fan for salespeople. I always have been. I always will, because without salespeople, this industry dies. And it's you and, Glenn Lundy and some, all the people out there that are truly trying to make a difference. And, it's admirable, because I've been in this business since 1985. And just to see the way that it's going and the wave of the future. So I'm going to stick with my prediction that you will be bigger than Cardone, and that you're going to have incredible success, and that your name's going to be on a sign way before 7 years from now.
Well, I will greatly appreciate it and take that. And I'm going to keep tirelessly working at making this industry better, just like you do. I do appreciate you for sharing the airwaves with me today.
Absolutely.
Great honor.
Well, I want to thank again QuickPage, who is my sponsor of this show. They are fantastic. And I know that they sponsor your show too, Shawn, and they're wonderful people. It's an amazing product, just to be able to send somebody an email video, an email text. That's so much more effective than just writing out a few words. It's like, tell us just real quick some of the success that you've had since I've got you on the show with QuickPage and using their product.
Well, actually, Chad came and I didn't know who Chad was or QuickPage at that time. I was using BombBomb, and in fact, Chad reached out to me, and I started using it. And I'm like, wow, this is better. It works cleaner. And we ended up becoming friends. And it's really changed my business, because now I really believe that they say video is worth 8 million words. 8 million words, one video. Okay, so if that's the case, I need to send videos, right? Because I feel like so many times when people leave your dealership and they don't buy a car, they forget who you were, what you said, if they liked you, the atmosphere of your place. But I can bring all that back with one video. I can remind them about standing in front of the car that we looked at, my personality. Maybe we shared a joke. Maybe there was something, that we had going on there, kidding around with. And I can bring them back to that. And they can remember, hey, we liked Shawn. Shawn was awesome. I forgot, we saw 6 other people, but Shawn was awesome. Let's go buy a car from Shawn. And I think QuickPage has really changed the game. They've done a great job. And Chad Morgan has really, really done a good job with the customer service end. I really think that's the difference of that company compared to BombBomb is I'm very proud of Chad and his business.
Well, Chad and Michelle have been wonderful to me and have supported my business. And so I'm very grateful to my sponsors, QuickPage. And Shawn, like I said, my friend, continued success. I'm going to continue to tell your story because it is worthy to be told.
Awesome.
And I will see you out there soon. All right. Goodbye, everybody. And thanks for tuning in today to Big Sellers. And we'll see you next week, Monday, 4:30 Central Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye, everybody.